What's going on, guys? Coach Matt here, back with Hot Shot Sports, doing a quick demo for you guys to learn how to do a ninja class with Hot Shot Sports. So as you can see behind me, we have a lot of stuff, right? We have some buckets, we have some tunnels that we use. So I'll go through that in a minute. But the first thing you want to do is judge, how old your kids are, what if they're good listeners, basically for the first day. So we want to get you guys set up correctly so you guys know how to run your class on your own. So the first thing I like to do is you guys are going to have a set of cones at home that you guys will bring with Hot Shots. We'll give you guys that you guys will bring to your ninja. So if you guys can see here, we have a red, a yellow, a blue, red, yellow, blue. That's just going to be basically for our warm-ups and where the kids are going to wait. We'll take attendance, and that's where they're going to be for warming up. So don't ignore the stuff in the middle. That's just for where you guys, I'm going to show you guys that stuff in a minute. But for warm-ups, you want to have the colors, red, yellow, blue. There's some orange in the stack. There's some green in the stack. So if, let's say you guys have a class of about 6 or 7 kids, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You'll just go all the way down the line, keeping the cones as distant as possible, and that's where they'll start. So let's say the first thing they want to do is we'll do a bunny hop to warm up. So we'll start at our cone, we'll do our bunny hops all the way to our cone and all the way back. You guys notice how they're color coordinated as well? So I put the red in the red, the yellow, the blue with the blue. So every kid can find their way across when we do our warm-ups so they don't get confused. You say, hey, if this guy's name's Jimmy, hey Jimmy, you go from red to red, and Sarah, you go from yellow to yellow, so the kids can make sure they're going in the right spot and keeping distant. So for our warm-ups, we like to do bunny hop. You could do a shuffle. You could do walk backwards. You could do big jumps. You could do high knees. There's multiple things that kids could do to get their heart rate up. You can even have them stand at their pod and do jumping jacks, running in place. So that's up to you, whatever you guys want to do for warm-up. The warm-up doesn't have to take too long, maybe about 5 to 7 minutes or so on warm-up, getting the kids going. So for our ninja course, it's about, you're gonna actually have 2 bags that one of the coaches will give you when you're doing your class. So I'll show you guys that here. So they're big black bags, and in the first one, in this one, there's a bunch of noodles, right? So you'll put those noodles together to create your course. I'll give you guys more information on that later. But one bag is going to be full of noodles so when you're done, you'll unhook them and you'll put them back in the bag. The other bag is right here. You'll have 2 of them. Here's the other bag here, another black bag. In that bag, you'll have these buckets that were behind you. You'll have these little spiky dots for balancing. You'll have these big blue ones as well for balancing. You'll have some dots to put down. So if you wanted to play a game like the floor is lava, you could put dots on the court if you're inside, or if you're on the grass, jump on a dot, head to the next one, and you can put that in your course as well. So that's going to be in the 2 black bags. One thing I didn't discuss yet, and I'll bring this up, is the masks. When you're instructing a class, if you're in the middle while the kids are at their pods and you're a pretty good distance away from them and you're outside, you can have your mask down like I am here on my chin. I'm also to keep it down for you guys so you guys can hear me better on the camera. But if you're instructing a kid or disciplining a kid, if he's not listening, you have to go up close to them. So if there's a kid on the red dot here not really listening, you say, hey, you'll pull up your mask then and do that, instruct the kid. So anytime you're close to a kid with helping him or something, or if they have a question they want to ask you, I would please put your mask over your nose. If you're running a ninja class inside, mask on the whole time. We don't want to take it down inside. Protocols, we're to keep it up the whole time. So now let's get to our course. The course, there's no certain set way to build it. You guys can be as creative as you want with it. So with all this stuff in the bag, you guys can make your own course. If you have a big group, sometimes I like to make two sides of a course. So I'll have some stuff on this side. So let's say I have the buckets on this side, and if you had a balance beam provided to you as well, you could have the balance beam on this side. And just build it with 2 courses this way and having the kids sit on the end and waiting for their turn. If you have a smaller group, you could just honestly do one big line of equipment. So if you can see here, I have my bucket set up straight, so you could have the kids start in the bucket, then they go to the tunnel. If they're a little bit older, you could have them jump over. As you can see, I set up behind me the green tunnel. They could jump over it. If they're a little younger and can't get up that high, you could have them crawl under. There's about 4 or 5 sets of those little noodle tunnels, so you guys could put inside the course. As I said with these spiky dots earlier, there's about 4 or 5 of these as well. Spread them out on the course. Sometimes it's hard for kids to balance on them because they're uneven, right? So they have to balance all the way across the spiky dots. So that's another part of the course you could do. You could do the buckets. I would suggest using the buckets, the noodles, the spiky dots, and then also you guys have your cones that you'll be provided to as well. Use your cones and make a circle with the cones and have them do an activity in the circle. Maybe that could be the end of the course. Start in the buckets, go under, go over, step on the spiky dots all the way across. Then at the end, you can make your own circle with the cones, and at the end say, hey, you gotta do 10 jumping jacks before your time stops. So first thing I would do, let the kids go through the course, see how easy it is, see how hard it is. Just practice with the first round for them. The second round, if they're good listeners, and they're doing everything that you guys are instructing to do, you can actually pull out your phone. My phone's recording right now. You could pull out your phone, have a timer, and then time the kids and see how fast they go, just so I could pick it up a little bit. Because usually the first time they go through the course, you know, they're getting slow, it's the first day, they're nervous. The second time, really incorporate and really push them, hey, let's go a little bit faster. So we'll have a timer on to push them to go faster. The parents like to cheer them on. The kids in the class like to see how fast they go and how fast their other classmates go. So that's one thing I would do. So that will probably take you, once you're done with the course, you'll probably have about 15 to 17 minutes left, depending on how your group is, of group games. On the website, there's a whole list of group games that you guys can play. Obviously, you have to be careful which games you pick. With touching, you know, all the tag games, sharks and minnows, probably not a go. Just keeping the kids as distant as you can. One game that's actually in the bag that I'll show you guys that parents love and the kids love to play, it's called the scarf toss. So you have your scarf here that's also in one of the black bags as well. Each kid is at their pod, like we did for warm-ups, and you're gonna go across from each kid. So let's say we'll start at the red. I'll be standing over here, and we'll probably do 2 or 3 rounds of this and see how far you can go back with them catching it. So let's say I'm over here and Jimmy's at the red. And we'll say, okay, Jimmy, you're gonna hold up the scarf like this. It's a little windy today, so it might be a little harder. You're gonna hold up the scarf, right? And you're gonna say 3, 2, 1. You're gonna toss the scarf in the air, and Jimmy at the red is gonna have to find it, locate it, and try to catch it before the scarf hits the ground. That's a really fun game to do in the gym. Obviously, that's very weather permitted. Right now, it's too windy to play that game. But if you're in the gym and you want to have the kids to have fun, that's a really fun one to do is the scarf toss. Let me grab one more item here. Let's see. Obviously, every kit's gonna have a ball in it, so there's a lot of activities that you guys can play with the ball, right? One thing I like that my ninja kids like is called the catching game. So you put them in a circle, a distant circle, make a big circle. You're gonna be in the middle of the circle, and you're gonna go around and toss the ball to them. They catch it, they toss it back to you. Sounds very easy, but kids have a hard time of staying focused. So if you go around the circle, then the next time around you say, hey, I'm not gonna go in the same order I did before. So you could look here at Brian and then toss it to somebody else. Let's say Brian's here and Christian's over here. You could be looking at Brian, throw it to Christian, but he's not paying attention, right? So you gotta make sure they're all paying attention, looking at you, and make it very silly. You know, you could make jokes, you could scream, try to scare them, just so they drop the ball. And then if they drop it, all they have to do is sit down in the circle and wait for the next game. And remember, if you want to help the kids, if kids get sad about getting in the circle, you know, say, hey, there's no winning and losing, all for fun here, right? So if they drop it, that's okay. You try again and work on the next time. So those are some games that you guys can play. Obviously, the main focus is the course, right? So as I said before, you have your 2 bags. Build your course however you want it. You could do one big line. Sometimes as well with the course, I do a big circle. So I'll do the buckets kind of making a circle with the tunnels, the spiky dots and everything. So I'm making kind of a big circle so kids go around. Change it up each week. And like I said, you have a big class, split them up into 2 groups and put down cones if they're waiting for their turn to go on their courses. Put down cones just like we did for warm-ups. And that's where they sit waiting for their turn. And you could do races and all sorts of stuff like that, all right? I hope this helped you guys, and welcome aboard.